Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Please don't mind the background. I was just dabbling on Blender and I decided to hop on and do a little bit of filming. I wasn't going to do this video, but I thought, why not share my experience? This week I'm going to talk a little bit about what I experienced during the Fan Expo in the Toronto Metro Convention Center in downtown Toronto over this past weekend. And I wasn't initially planning on going, but I did go with my workplace, and we had a booth where we were talking about 3D printing, selling some prints and printers, as well as filaments and resins, and showing live demos of prints. And we had some displays of printed pieces, and I found that a lot of people were so fascinated with 3D printing. It was a mixed crowd. Some people were super into it and were just like asking a bunch of questions about new technology, and some people were completely new. They had like no idea what 3D printing was and wanted some more information and wanted to know the difference between FDM, DLP, SLA, all that type of thing. So it was cool to kind of talk with a lot of people around the city and get the vibe of what the general public knows about 3D printing. That was cool. But while I was there, I did have a chance to roam around and explore, and I saw so many beautiful art pieces and prints and toys, and it just unleashed like an artistic parade in my head, because I'm like, oh my god, I can do this, or oh my god, I can design something like this. It just gave me so many ideas, and I thought I would share with you some of the clips that I took regarding like the art at different vendors. So firstly, I want to show you one of my favorite vendors, and it was Ubisoft, and they had a whole Assassin's Creed booth, and they had these statues or sculptures that were so intricate and so beautiful, and I believe it was either casted, but the details were so beautiful, and you can see it over here. There were 4 or 5 sculptures that were lined up, and it was breathtaking, like the amount of work that was put into it. It looks like they were painted. I actually just googled it quickly and I found it on the Ubisoft website, and it's under figurines on their merchandise store, and I found that some of these were for sale and available to the public, and it is, oh, let's see if I can focus here, $899. And to be honest, like, if you are a big Assassin's Creed fan, I would probably get it. I am super happy that I had the opportunity to go before the expo to kind of take some videos and take a couple photos, because it was so busy. I've never seen a place so busy before in my life. Thursday, Friday was okay. It was steady. But Saturday was like a jungle. I can't even explain the amount of people. I was trying to go up outside of the actual convention center, and I couldn't because there were swarms of people trying to use the escalator. Back on track. My second favorite was probably Studio Ghibli's vendor. They had all the characters from their movies and the anime, and they had a giant Totoro. And I think that just drove me absolutely insane, because it was actually fluffy, and they had a scene where you can go and take pictures with him. All the kids were lining up and hugging him, and it was just like the cutest little thing to experience, because everyone just loves Totoro. He's so cute. Thirdly, this booth with Bandai Toys, Bandai Namco Toys, and I actually never heard of them prior to this event, which is so surprising because they are a massive company. Let me just read you what they are. So Bandai Co. is the 3rd largest toy manufacturer in the world, and the company is best known for products derived from popular television and comic book characters such as Power Rangers, Gundam, and Ultraman. These range from action figures and their accessories to video game software, clothing, and candy. And they just had toys everywhere. They had figurines. They had the whole cast of Stranger Things as little figurines, and it was so cute. They had this whole diorama of Star Wars, and it was so intricate, it was so detailed. It was literally a work of art. It was priced at like $700, but to be honest, again, if you're a huge Star Wars fan, you'll buy it because like it is art. It's a collectible. They had like little Sailor Moon figurines, which was definitely probably one of the main animes I watched as a kid, and I'm not hugely big on anime. I've recently got into it, but I've didn't really grow up watching it besides Sailor Moon. They also had little Naruto toys, and prototyping toys is something that like I'm kind of interested in, along with like jewelry and other things. So seeing that was again an eye-opener for like a abundance of ideas that come into my head. The next vendor that I saw that really caught my eye was Nanoblock, and I also never heard of Nanoblock before, but they had this giant Pikachu and Pac-Man display from their blocks, and I thought that was pretty cool. A little description of Nanoblock is they have a similar design to Lego bricks, but they are smaller, with the smallest brick being 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters by 5 millimeters. So super small. I can't imagine stepping on those. That must be painful because I know how Legos are. The display was so cute. I really loved it. And then afterwards, Pikachu came in front. Someone dressed as Pikachu came in front of the Pikachu display, and I thought that was so cute. Like, I don't know. So random. Next, I think those were the main vendors that I personally gravitated towards. There was a stage where people could game and have like cosplay competitions. People were dressed so beautifully. I've never been to a convention, so seeing the makeup, the dresses, the costumes, people dressing up as like superheroes, action figures. Some people went full out and just dressed to the max, and they put their all into it. Like, you can tell some people took hours to get ready. Me, like, I've never cosplayed before, and if I had more notice prior to this event, I probably would have put something together. My initial plan was to do like a Wonder Woman or something like that and 3D print a lot of my props, but I unfortunately didn't have time. I had to do so much printing for the actual booth and for the event that I had no time to actually focus on creating a costume. I did get a wig. I got a gray wig and I rocked that for a day, but no one tells you how itchy wigs are. I was itching the whole day, but I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Let me be like short and light haired today, because normally it's the opposite. So it was definitely fun to just like play around. So after looking at all the big company vendors and booths, I made my way to the Artist Valley section, and this is where comic book artists were lined up, and they had their comics and they were there for questions and signings and stuff like that, as well as a bunch of different artists that were selling paintings, prints, sweaters, keychains. A lot of people that I researched afterwards had a lot of success during the expo because they got a lot of followers on Instagram and they sold a lot of product, and I thought that was awesome. It's great to have that kind of exposure because you are dealing with hundreds, if not thousands of people within the weekend. You definitely get your business out there. So I definitely found a couple of artists that I really gravitated towards, and one is a company and one is an actual artist on Instagram, and I'll definitely share that with you guys because I think she is great. So there's this one girl called Lisa LaRose, and she's an artist painter, and she was selling her prints, and I'll show you some of the art that she does because it's just like so beautiful, and the colors just absolutely breathtaking. Her line work is so clean and the colors are so vibrant. So definitely give her a follow if you like this type of art and you want to support a local artist. So the final booth that I really loved was called Gallery Panda, and their whole booth had a bunch of acrylic paintings or artworks that were displayed along a giant wall and on the tables. And they weren't just any ordinary acrylic pieces of art, but they were pieces that you can hook up to a frame that has a LED light, and it actually illuminates the painting and the different colors. I thought that was such a nice added piece because you don't normally see artwork glowing. You see a canvas on the wall, it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. But when something's glowing and illuminating, like, you're going to look at it. It's going to be a prominent feature in the room. So it is such a brilliant idea because you can have it as an art piece, but then you can just like turn it on and it's like really hype and everyone loves it, especially if you have people over. So I thought that was a wonderful idea. The price point was pretty good. Like, I'm sure they're making great money because each piece was like $80–90, and then you had to buy the frame, which was like $100. So they're really bringing in cash, and I was like, this is a good business idea because people were gravitating towards it. They really loved it. So applaud to them. We are a company from Texas, so if you're in the States, you can definitely check them out. Honestly, I am so happy that I went to the Fan Expo this year, and I will most definitely be going back next year. And also, I'm gonna keep tabs on what other events are in the city because I feel like it's so nice to see what other people are doing and what works and what doesn't, and it's just giving me ideas for my own personal projects and plans. So if you're kind of in the same boat as me, like thinking like, okay, what do people like? What do people gravitate toward? It's definitely a good idea to go check out the expos and different events and see what's going on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you don't mind liking and subscribing, it really does help my channel. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I will definitely get back to them. And please follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day and see you next week.